10 years ago, I had this list in my head. I never dreamt that I'd get to the end of that list. So I've decided to end my River Monsters journey. Look at this! Arapaima on a fly. This thing...
10 years ago, I had this list in my head. I never dreamt that I'd get to the end of that list. So, I've decided to own my River Monsters journey. Look at this. Are up on a fly. This thing. What really happened to river monsters? For years, Jeremy Wade turned legends into living nightmares, hauling mysterious creatures from the world's most dangerous waters. At last, the animal that's been swimming around on my head for nearly 20 years. Then, without warning, the show vanished. Now, at 69, Wade has finally revealed the truth. And it's nothing like what fans were led to believe, because this story isn't only about monsters lurking beneath the surface. It's about the darker secrets the rivers have been hiding all along. The teacher who chased monsters. If there's anyone who ever earned the right to call himself an explorer of the unseen, it's Jeremy Wade. The man who made the world believe that monsters still swim beneath the surface. There's one place where I'm going to find out just how big the Wells catfish grows, and how potentially dangerous it is. But long before the cameras and the fame, his obsession was already alive. Quiet, constant, and hungry. WD's fascination with rivers started young on the banks of the River Tower in East Anglia. While other kids were glued to football matches, he was staring into moving water, trying to guess what pulled on the weeds beneath. It was inevitable that he would be drawn to it. It's almost an instinctive fear you get when you look at it. There's just something about looking. His first attempts at fishing were clumsy, and his catches were rare. But the moment he landed his first fish, something changed. He was hooked in more ways than one. And from that day on, his curiosity only grew stronger. That curiosity eventually pushed him beyond the comfort of home. This was a couple of pounds. Yeah, I'd say 2 pounds. And the biggest one you've seen? He studied zoology at Bristol University, earned a postgraduate teaching certificate in Kent, and spent nearly 20 years teaching biology in England, India, and even Sudan. It was stable work, respectable, the kind of career that gives you a roof and a routine. But for Jeremy, the classroom walls started to feel like a cage. Every school term was just a countdown to his next escape. Every paycheck, a ticket to somewhere wilder. He'd pack his bags the moment he got a holiday and disappear into the world's backwaters. The locals in those remote villages got used to the sight of a tall, polite Englishman asking strange questions about rivers that ate people. They told him tales half folklore, half warning about fish that swallowed dogs, shadows that dragged swimmers under, and spirits said to live in the deepest bends of the current. We were fishing for Dorado, and we happened to come across these strange animals. Outsiders dismissed them as superstitions. Wade didn't. He took notes. Every rumor, every haunting detail went into his growing library of river stories from Africa, Asia, and South America. Over time, these stories began to feel like clues in a much larger mystery. A young man who angered the Naga by being wasteful. The next time he went to bathe in the river, he disappeared. He was certain there was truth hidden in the myths, that monsters might exist not as fantasy Bhuttas misunderstood biology. And the only way to find them was to go where no scientist or fisherman dared to go. But obsession comes with a price. The more time he spent chasing the unknown, the more detached he became from ordinary life. While his colleagues talked about mortgages and promotions, Wade was sleeping in tents, wading through murky water, and getting bitten by things most people couldn't pronounce. That's just dug its spine right in the back of my hand. The rivers gave him purpose, and sometimes nearly took his life. He started reflecting on the years he'd spent chasing whispers. What if those stories could be brought to life for everyone? Not just as fish tales, but as something deeper, a mix of science, myth, and raw survival. Out of that fever-driven dream, the idea for River Monsters was born. When River Monsters finally aired in 2009, audiences were hooked from the first cast of his line. The debut episode plunged viewers into the Amazon basin, a place that seemed to breed danger. You know, you've got to be very, very careful tangling with these creatures. Jeremy faced creatures that looked like they belonged in nightmares. The colossal Arapima that could leap like a horse. The Pariba catfish rumored to eat animals whole. And the infamous Piranhaswo's reputation was almost scarier than the truth. Look at those teeth. Look at those teeth. They just have such powerful jaws. I mean, that would take a serious-sized lump out of you. But the show wasn't just about catching fish. It was about solving mysteries. Each episode unfolded like a detective story with Wade piecing together clues from local legends, eyewitness accounts, and scientific evidence. By the time he landed the monster, viewers weren't just watching a man fish. They were watching him prove that myths and biology sometimes meet in the same river. The response was explosive. River Monsters became Animal Planet's most watched show almost overnight. Scientists respected its accuracy. Casual viewers loved its suspense. People who'd never held a fishing rod suddenly found themselves glued to screens, waiting for the next creature at a surface. I was going to say, it's built like a missile. This is a tire fish, believe it or not. Two of us can hardly restrain it. Jeremy Wade, the quiet man with the calm voice and steel nerves, had become a global TV star, but fame never really suited him. While others saw celebrity, he saw distraction. For him, it was never about ratings. It was about finding the next mystery. Yet, even as the stakes climbed, WD's attitude stayed the same. Focused, cautious, almost humble. Were you fishing for these or no? Barramundi, barramundi, and I've caught everything. But right? He wasn't chasing glory. He was chasing answers. And as the crew followed him into more unforgiving places, through jungles, deserts, and war zones, a silent question began to rise. How far could Jeremy Wade really push the hunt before the river pushed back? And soon those small trips into the unknown would soon become something much bigger and much hungrier. The hunt that outgrew the jungle. Look at this. Aopima on a fly. This thing. When River Monsters first aired, nobody expected it to explode the way it did. Viewers didn't just tune in, they devoured it. Season 1 felt like lightning in a bottle. Real danger, real mystery, and a real man facing things most people would only see in nightmares. It's still fighting me. It's still fighting me. This fish. The rating shot through the roof. And suddenly, Jeremy Wade wasn't just chasing monsters. He was leading a worldwide obsession. But success, as always, comes with a catch. After the first season's runaway success, the network wanted more. Bigger fish, stranger stories, deadlier waters. Audiences had developed an appetite for fear. Not the Hollywood kind, but the kind that felt real. The Amazon had given them piranhas, arapima, and electric eels. But now, fans wanted to know what else lurked in the world's rivers. The challenge was clear. Go farther. And so Wade did. By the second and third seasons, the small production that began in the muddy waters of South America had evolved into a global expedition. The team leapt continents. From the misty Himalayas to the mangroves of Southeast Asia. From the murky Congo to the radioactive rivers near Chernobyl. Every new season pushed them into harsher environments, riskier waters, and situations that tested more than just fishing skills. Take the Congo for example. Calling the Congo River dangerous is an understatement. It's one of the deepest rivers on Earth, over 700 feet in some parts, and its currents move with terrifying force. Beneath its surface live creatures that science barely understands, including the Goliath tiger fish, a silver scale predator with teeth like daggers and the power to shred flesh in seconds. Getting there was a nightmare in itself. The terrain was unforgiving,